Hi, this is Christine Lee, your real estate expert, here to give you a quick crash course on short sales. What is it? How can it help? How does it work? And is it a good fit for you or anyone else you know? A short sale is, simply put, a real estate sale where you owe more than what your home is worth, meaning you're upside down on the home, but the bank chooses to forgive part of the mortgage in order to make the sale happen. Now, they're typically doing this because the seller is in a hardship, they're already behind on their payments, right around the corner from a foreclosure, and they realize, gosh, if we don't take a loss now and make the short sale happen, we're going to own the home through foreclosure, and that's going to cost even more money. So they're kind of, biting the bullet and saying, okay, we'll cut our losses now so that we don't have to own it. Well, ultimately, this is great for the seller because this is a chance for you to get out from underneath your home, avoid foreclosure, and typically you don't have to come to the table with any money, and the bank doesn't have to take a bigger loss later. They can just take it now. So it ends up being a win-win overall, and that's essentially why this whole thing is able to happen. Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the short sale process a little bit so you at least have a general idea of what goes on and what to expect. Once you hire us to handle the short sale of your home, we'll start collecting documents so that we can complete and prepare a short sale package that the bank requires as a part of the process. Once we get that together, we'll be simultaneously marketing your home to try and get buyers for your home under contract. Once we have a contract and a complete package, then we'll be able to submit it to the bank and let them start reviewing it, underwriting it, and getting through their process of their decision making. Now, part of that is getting a BPO, which is a broker's price opinion, and they'll use that most of the time to make a decision on how much they'll take for the home and whether they're going to accept, reject, or counter offer the buyer's offer. But eventually the bank will come up with a number, and that process is the longest part, is getting that number from the bank, and that can take anywhere from weeks to months. But once you have that, then we'll have an answer for the buyer, and if the number works out, then we're moving forward. If not, then there's some counter negotiations, we can provide additional documentation, but that's where we come in and we'll handle all of that for you. But at some point we're going to get an agreement from the buyer and from the bank. From that point, we can move towards closing. And that typically takes your normal 30 to 45 days because we're waiting on the buyer's mortgage. And if it's a cash deal, then it'll work out even better. But once we get to the closing table, we'll have all the documents in place, including the bank's payoff letter, which will be less than what you owe because they're taking a loss at that point, which is allowing us for the sale to even happen in the first place. And at closing, everything is done. You're free from your home. You don't have to bring any money to the table typically, and you're avoiding foreclosure. So at that point, you can celebrate a little bit, get a little happy, and move on to the next phase of your life. So I look forward to being able to guide you through this process and getting you to that point. And if you have any questions, just let us know. Alright, now let's start getting into the process of a short sale so you have a general overview of what to expect and what all goes on behind the scenes. Now, generally speaking, you're expecting anywhere from 4 to 6 months, plus or minus, but every bank is different, so it's really going to vary depending on what the process is for each bank and how quick they respond. Now, once you hire us to handle the short sale of your home, we're going to start gathering documents that the bank is going to require as part of the short sale package. Simultaneously, we're going to put your home on the market so we can start fishing for buyers and start looking for the right one for a short sale process, because it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's going to take a certain special buyer that is willing to really be committed to this house and have a lot of patience to be able to go through the whole process. Now, once we find that buyer though and we have your documents together, then we can really submit everything to the bank and get the process rolling. Now, just to paint you a scenario, here's what's going on at the banks just so you understand. These banks have what's called short sale negotiators, loss mitigators. There's a lot of different names for them, but they're really the people making the decisions behind the scenes, the underwriters, so to speak, for the short sale file. These people are, just generally speaking, just swamped with paperwork. I mean, they got thousands of files they are dealing with because there's just so many coming across the country that they don't really know what to do with it. Imagine this. A single person that's handling not just a city or state, but really a tri-state or a whole region of short sales coming in. There's no pulse, there's no read on how many they're going to bring in, and really all the banks aren't exactly frantically excited to hire a bunch of people so they can lose money faster. So these people are literally just beyond swamped. So if there's anything we can do to make their life easier, we need to be doing it. Now what they're dealing with, again, are thousands of files, and some files are beautiful. They're ready to go, and they can move it right along, but some of them are missing so many things they can't even do anything with it. And if you're missing anything, then they're going to send you an email, maybe who knows how many weeks later after you submitted it, and then you're just going to go right back to the bottom of the queue, and you're going to have to wait that whole time again. So it's critically important to really have everything in there and make their lives easier, so it can really make your life easier. Okay, so now that we've submitted the file, you go through the process, and this is the longest part of the waiting. We're just waiting to kind of get in line and kind of take a number and working our way through the queue. And once they look at our file, finally we get some human eyes on it. They're going to order what's called a BPO. That's a broker's price opinion, and that is almost their version of an appraisal. And they're going to use that value to calculate how much they're going to accept, how much they're going to take a loss on, etc., and be able to respond to your buyer's offer as an acceptance or a rejection or even a counter offer. Eventually, we're going to get a meeting of the minds between the bank and the buyer, and we will have acceptance, which is a great place to be. So again, at acceptance, you're probably at least 2 to 3 months out. And once you have that, then we know what numbers we're dealing with, and we know that the buyer's willing to move forward, and they're going to have to reinitiate their mortgage process. So if they have a loan, it's going to take them another 30 to 45 days to get to closing. And so once we're at that point, then you're going to be able to sell your home and be out from underneath it, avoid foreclosure, and typically not come to the table with any money. So that is the beauty of the process, and that's the whole process in a nutshell. Again, things vary, results vary depending on bank to bank, but overall that is the nuts and bolts of it. So I hope that helps so you can better understand what to expect. Now if you know anybody else that needs this type of help, please forward this link to them so we can help them out as well. Okay, so now let's talk about who qualifies for a short sale. Well, that's actually pretty simple. If you have a hardship and you're behind on your payments, you're heading towards foreclosure, and you're upside down on your home, those are all great reasons or qualifications for a short sale. So needless to say, that covers a whole slew of people, and it's not very hard to qualify. But the most difficult part is actually going through the short sale process successfully. There are many short sales that are attempted and never happen and end up in foreclosure, so it is critically important for you to pick the right agent for the job of short selling your home. Now, you want somebody who's knowledgeable and experienced like us to handle it, so you can go through the process as smoothly as possible, and you have somebody by your side that can handle any situation that might come up through the process. So what we would recommend is that you hire us for the job of short selling your home so you can have the best and most successful experience that you can. So you may be wondering, when is it a good time to talk to somebody about a short sale? Let's put it this way. When is it a good time to talk to a doctor about a cancerous lump on your back? It's as soon as possible. There is no point in waiting. We're here to help you step through the whole process and see if this is a good fit for you. Answer any questions you have and just take it step by step. Now, don't worry. I know for a lot of people, sometimes it's a really awkward situation. You might have a history of perfect credit and you just got caught up in the current real estate market. And there's a lot of people that are in the exact same position that you are. Over 40% of the sales last year were distressed sales, so trust me, you're not alone. And I know sometimes it can be a little bit awkward or embarrassing, and I had a close family member of mine also go through the same process, so I know how it's like. So just feel free to reach out to us and let us know what your concerns are and how we can help. And if you know anybody else that is in the same or similar position, please forward this link to them so we can help them properly. We look forward to helping you and anybody else you know.